Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Rebellion's Bloom, the Penny Bloom Podcast's Star Wars umbrella show. It is I, Colton Robertson, and I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and I'm also joined by KBZ Kyler Arnett. What's up, bud?
Yurt.
And also Nerd. We're talking The Bad Batch.
Bitches.
The Bad Batch, bitches. Season 2, episode 14 through 16. And we're going to be all spoilers from the fucking jump. So if you have not watched it, you're going to have to get the fuck out of here, because I'm assuming if you're watching it, you are actually invested in the story. You do actually want to know what happens. I don't think this is something most people are just like, I feel like people who watch The Bad Batch are fans of The Bad Batch, which is...
That's reaching, bro.
No, I mean, but like, there are a lot of people who actively dislike a lot of Star Wars who watch a lot of Star Wars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of people who would have already dipped on The Bad Batch.
If they're in episode 14 through 16, they're already watching the show, so they're already more than that Star Wars fan, you know, that just gets rid of it because it's animation and thinks it's a kid's show. So they're in it, and if you're watching it, I mean, let's just be honest, like, I mean, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, but I am more invested in this story. I was more invested in this story as a season of television than I am in The Mandalorian right now. Like, I was, I guess, more emotionally invested.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely I could say that. I don't know whether I could say, you know, where my theories are going. I'm thinking more of, you know, for the future with Mando, but like, man, was this story just told so well and hit so hard. Like, dude, on everything they were trying to go for. You know, like, they delivered everywhere.
Well, what I love about the end of this season here is that it totally subverted my expectations anyway. I thought we were heading in a hope direction. I thought, you know, we were going to bring some shit together, happy ending, almost basically with something slightly wrong. You know, like, there's still a looming threat. But at least we all came together. We got Crosshair back. We are all alive, and we are all happy. No, on all counts, actually. In fact, someone died and someone else got more captured. Not just we broke we broke Crosshair out and nobody's dead.
I mean, now Crosshair is captured, Omega is captured, Tech is dead. The only ones that are out, Hunter, Echo, and Wrecker, and they're like just a mess right now. They don't even know like what to do, you know, like, or I guess they know what to do now. They're on a mission. They are not gonna. But
I don't know what to do, bro.
Yeah, like, we have to wait how long until we get any answers? They're gonna make us sit with this for a year, at least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because. Yeah, Bad Batch Season 1 was definitely 2021. That was a while back. Fucking god damn it. Fucking
man,
shit, fuck.
It's just, in my head, this season, I was like, Wrecker is the one to go if someone goes. And that's just where my head was the whole time. I never thought my boy. I never thought it was Tech's turn, you know?
I'm gonna be honest. I felt like it was more him or Echo than anybody this season. Felt like that was just the way it was headed. I just think you don't. Yeah, no, I hear that. You just don't feed them like the character development and lines that you give them, like in the kind of character moments you give them. If like it's not, unfortunately.
But the thing that gets me The thing that gets me is that he is gone, and if he is gone, I have to accept it and move on myself. But like, they were showing so much potential with him, with Fee, and him learning like social cues and stuff like that. Like,
oh man, as soon as I heard that line in episode 15, I knew it was over.
Like, Fee was teaching Tech social cues, and like, that's just for kids watching the show that struggle with that sort of same thing. Like, it could be actually very just good. Like, to have, like, I was just really excited to see that, and I thought it would be cute as hell, just Fee and Tech. They were amazing, you know, and I'm like, I cannot wait just for like little social cues to be learned through Tech, and Tech to, you know, we just see his progress, you know, and I was like, they're setting it up. Gone. You know,
that's a classic trope though.
How
often do we watch a movie where, you know, the lady goes up to the guy and she's like, promise me you'll come home, and he's like, yeah, I'll come home, and then when I come home, we're gonna change the way things happen, we're gonna move to that ranch that we always wanted, and everything's gonna be just fine. Boop, dead. As soon as you hear something like that, you're like, oh, that guy's gonna fucking die. And, you know, while they weren't doing shit like that so explicitly, it was not nearly as exposition heavy as one might argue another Star Wars show at the moment is. Yeah. It was they were clearly building a direction for Tech that would, you know, kind of see you fulfilled in what his life becomes beyond this. And, you know, they kind of did that for other characters, sure. You know, Wrecker was helping out around Pabu. Everyone fucking loved him. He was a cool guy. Hunter is, you know, he's warming up to the idea, but we don't really get any indication that this is what he would like. Tech, he sees the beauty and all the stuff that's going on. He's with Fee, and he's someone he would like to settle down with. It's usually enough to go, yeah, not much longer on this one, huh?
They were really focusing on him too. Like, you know, I don't think Tipping Point, I don't know, it's like, it's going to be hard not to talk about the last two episodes, you know? So I really want to try to give as much as I can to that episode, because we got Tech and Omega giving little flying lessons, you know, like they were giving so many little things with Tech that were just so cute, like moments. And whenever he's teaching her how to, you know, Omega's taking the Marauder and she's zooming, and Tech's, you know, trying to keep calm because you're not supposed to yell, you know, at someone that's new at drive, you know, and it makes it worse. So he's trying to keep his calm. He's pull up, Omega, Omega, pull up, you know, and it's, I don't know, all the,
at least the just didn't go off this time.
Yeah. Like he's the cool uncle, you know, the whole time. And I don't know, I love seeing that. That was my favorite scene of the episode, was just the flying lessons and like the Tech turn. I can do the Tech turn? I can do the Tech turn? So yeah, no, I love that.
That is not what it's called, though I must say I quite like it. Absolutely loved that. But yeah, favorite scene, that was definitely a contender for me, but I ultimately had to go with Crosshair's attempted escape for Tipping Point. That was just, it couldn't be more clear, you know, that this dude loves his boys and he's not quite as evil as everyone might have once thought. That dude's he's looking out for his boys, you know, tries to get in contact with them. You have to run. You have to get away. They want. We know who he's talking about. I just love me some Crosshair. He also got my favorite character for the episode. That man was the shit. KBZ, what about a favorite scene for you?
Yeah, I really like the moment where, and this is kind of where my favorite line comes into play too, but there's that line with Shep when he's talking, and he says, "Is that all you are, a soldier?" I just love the backdrop. That is it, Pavu or Pabu? Pabu. Yeah, that planet is just a beautiful, beautiful scenic planet.
It is beautiful, and
brought some of the. I think it really brought the beautiful.
Yeah. Let Colton spit real quick. You got to hear this. You
And I'm sure you've seen it online by now because after I said it to Joe, I started seeing it on Twitter too, and I was like, I should have tweeted it. That'd have been nice. Pabu was on Scarif, where the Death Star blows up at the end of Rogue One.
That's the same planet where
That's
Jyn and Cassian hug on the beach, and we see him go. It's that planet. We're already on that planet. The Earth, the quakes that are happening, dude. It's because the Empire's there. They're fracking their mine, and they're putting their base there. Stuff that's fucking with the island and shit, and
stuff shake. It's making
and
the
then
planet.
We hear Project Stardust pop up, and we see the main dude who runs that project. And
can't have shit around here.
Man,
can't have shit around here.
Even if
there's no happy endings,
like Hunter, and they say they can't find Omega, and like they're looking for like years and nothing, right? They I guess how long do we have until Rogue One happens?
14 years.
Yeah, so
no, 19 years.
So they could be searching for so long, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're like, wow, like we're doing this forever, and like we have to eventually lay down. They go to Pabu and they do settle down. Eventually it blows up anyways, so like it isn't even a happy end. They can't do that anymore. It's not an option anymore, At least be like, it's just
not even on the elemental chart. It never landed.
I just want to say,
Fugazi.
It's a Wazi. It's a woozy.
It's a whoozy. It's a what?
Off the element. What is that?
It's off the elemental chart. It hasn't landed. It's not fucking real. It's Matthew McConaughey and the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, it's like.
Can we just say, fuck? Why am I blanking
Sid?
on the name? Yes, fuck Sid. Thank you.
Sid sucks.
Sid. Colton was on it first. I was more in that camp than anything, and she just cashed in.
I don't know what y'all were on. I was on the fee train from the get-go, and I say get Sid.
We've already had this I told you so moment, man. You don't need to rub it in.
But I'm just like, Sid, I didn't like Sid at all, ever. Like, not one bit, man, and I don't know. That's just... And now, I don't know, the fee thing isn't even gonna hit as hard, because the main thing I wanted out of it was what was the ship name that we settled on? Feck? Wasn't it Feck?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So
it doesn't even feel that good anymore.
Irishman dropping the F-bomb.
Feck.
Out of Feck.
Man.
You're all feckin' boring. It's from
Dude.
the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you sounded just like that. No.
Even at their lowest point, they lose Tech. She knows that, and she's like still gonna fuck them up. Like, what?
I more so just take beef with the fact she said, I really liked him. Bitch, you didn't like anybody. Fuck
I'm
you.
Surprised
you
Hunter
done
didn't
that.
shoot Sid. I really thought that was gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. We're done. I'm not being captured. Sid, you can die. Like, I really thought for a second it crossed my mind. But God.
Yeah.
She will die, right? Or no? Is she gone?
Sid?
Will she be? Yeah,
sure she's
making she'll die, or maybe will they go get her and be like, "Hey, you want to say something?" Or like, you want to try to say sorry? I don't know how you could, but
I don't know. Maybe I don't want them to. I kind of want her to just be gone, but they've done a lot with that character and the way that she handled this, turning them over. It was shitty, and she knew it was shitty, but at least she knew it was shitty. It doesn't make it any less shitty, but she feels bad about it, which I do think is like I said, doesn't make it less shitty, but it's a decent sign. And I could also see them going the route where she attempts to make up for what she did, and does something.
She sends the big motherfucker from the pod racing after him. Yeah. She sends him to go help.
That'd be awesome.
Still not redeemed though. I hate it.
How are they going to figure out where they are?
No, it wouldn't redeem her. It's the least she could do. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to have to figure out where Mount Tantus is. And we got the planet name. Hemlock dropped it, I think. Iridau or something like that, maybe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like, take him back to blah blah blah. I don't know. I could have sworn maybe he was referring to something else.
Iriadu?
I think so. I think it started with an
Iriadu?
E. I think it started with an E.
Eriadu. Shout
Yeah.
out closed
Star
captions.
Wars Iriadu.
Iriadu.
Yeah.
Iriadu.
Oh my fucking god.
The homeworld of Grand Moff Tarkin.
Of course.
That's interesting. Is Mount Tantus in here anywhere?
Mount Tantus is not on Iriadu, I don't think.
So
Iriadu is where the summit was.
The building that they all met in? Oh, yeah. That's okay. So they were okay.
So I could have prevented that my Wi-Fi wasn't so shit. I'd have been able to chime in a few seconds ago. But I've been waiting for it to fulfill back to its power.
Well, at least I got to have a little head theory, for a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, well, so we still have no idea where Mount Tantus even is.
No, right? Not planet-wise, no.
Dang, wow. How are they going to figure that out? Like,
that's a pretty secret location. Like, that's going to be tough.
Does he eventually turn that into Exegol? Like, is that pre-Exegol, Because like it's a pyramid event. No, I don't know. Exegol just like kind of, you have to have a Sith like a Wayfinder even get there.
I feel like Exegol's really ancient, and
that's already been. Yeah, no, that's been there. Yeah, no way. Palpatine
all those statues and shit underneath.
Not a chance.
A cool place that I think it could be turned into like 25, 30 years later. Is the fucking planet where Luke tries to build his first temple with Grogu. It's got a decently similar terrain and stuff. I think that could be interesting. That's the only thing I'm basing it off of. There's also the fact that in the books, Mount Tantus, this is based off of a original Thrawn Legends trilogy stuff. Mount Tantus is where they clone a Force sensitive being. So like
would make sense
if it was a place that was strong in the Force and stuff, and Luke it would continue the whole Coruscant with the Jedi Temple being built on a Sith Temple, being built on a Jedi Temple, etc., etc. Like,
wow. And I guess we were talking a little bit off mic about this a little bit, just because it's been hard not to talk about it. But the hope that we have for Tech, Kyler, I don't think we've brought it up yet, but like. His goggles were recovered, and Hemlock said that that's all that they could find. That's all that they could recover. But we were thinking that maybe they did find his body, and if they have Tech's body, then they have his DNA, and maybe they use that to tell Nala Se and Omega, try to clone another Tech, have all this memory stay intact as well, so you can have him back, and then that's how they, figure out the transfer of consciousness sort of cloning thing. Or something along those lines, because we don't know whether Palpatine transferred his consciousness through the Sith, through Sith means, or if he did it through whatever they're trying to figure out now, because obviously this research is very important to Palpatine.
It almost certainly had to be the Sith stuff, because his brain probably got destroyed when the Death Star did.
Yeah, but maybe Palpatine did that. But say you have the brain, say like you do. In this case, Tech's brain is probably still there. It's probably I don't even want to think about what his body looks like. But
no, yeah, that was the. I was gonna say maybe the only reason they only found the goggles is because his body was completely and utterly eviscerated.
That is possible, and I do need to accept the reality that he is
not a short fall he endured.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And that thing was tracking right on top of him.
Yeah.
That dude is also Tech, though. We need to drop little snippets of this shit somewhere to where like that's just like one of the snippets from this episode is like, but that man is Tech though.
That man is Tech though.
I mean, he's come out of pretty impossible situations before. This one seems pretty insurmountable. I mean, I don't know how you just counter gravity.
And from a storytelling perspective, obviously I love Tech. And this was fucking heartbreaking. It was I've obviously teared up and cried during Star Wars within the last few years. There are only a few times where I've like sobbed. This is one of them. But that said, well, I would love to see my boy Tech again. From a storytelling perspective, it would mean a lot fucking more if he was dead.
I know.
He's gone. Can't learn how to replace him.
I know.
Never learn how to replace him. He's gone.
Well,
a little Hall & Oates for you.
He's so gone. He's so gone.
I was thinking of giving Tech the clean sweep for character, just because it's not. It's the only way to do anymore.
It's only correct.
I will actually give Crosshair my favorite character for Tipping Point. For him actually not breaking and giving up Omega, and him, because like Hemlock comes in and he's like, "What is she? She means nothing to you. If you give me her, you're out of here, and you don't have to suffer anymore. Like, it's that easy." And Crosshair still doesn't say a word. Like, I don't know. It was just very nice to see. So that was the only reason I'll give Crosshair the favorite character for episode 14. But 15 and 16, it's gonna have to go to Tech. For me.
I mean, and I can't blame you for that one bit.
Yeah.
Because you only get so many chances in this life now to pick Tech for your favorite character. But I also went Crosshair episode 14, but I actually went Omega for both 15 and 16.
Ooh.
Simply because at the end of the day, I know the show is called The Bad Batch. This whole show is about how it's shaping Omega, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is the lens through which this entire show story is told.
As a sister, now.
Did I ever? I'm so pissed. Did I ever say the theory out loud that she was a clone?
A clone?
Fuck.
Maybe.
God damn it! No, because I was like,
I don't know.
It was literally just because of the voice, but then I wrote it off because Ryo Chuchi had a similar voice, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just a voice actress that they're kind of recycling through or something. But no, she did sound like Omega.
Yeah. Wow. I guess I
only noticed it once she said it. I was like, okay, why you? I was like, have you been talking like that this whole time, or like, what's the deal? Because like all of a sudden you sound
her hair color all different and stuff and so like it was easy in my head to go, nah, you know.
Do you know her name?
Emery.
Like her actual name?
Oh, the
Alpha and Omega. I don't know. I feel like A. It starts with an A.
What is this? A late 2000s animated film about wolves? What are we talking about?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something. Like, is this her real name, or is this her, her Empire's evil scientist name? I don't know. Was she?
Yeah, I guess we've always just assumed that Alpha of Alpha and Omega was Boba Fett.
But now,
did we ever?
She is older. Like,
yeah, did we get confirmation that the other one would have been Boba Fett? Like,
B, Boba, Beta, B, if they're going with that.
Well, it was going to be Alpha and Omega.
Yeah.
And we assumed Boba was Alpha.
Was Alpha and Omega, is that even, like, mentioned at all, or is that something that we're just bringing in?
That's what's mentioned. I don't think Boba Fett is expressly mentioned, though. I think that was something that was just assumed.
That we just
need to rewatch season 1.
Yeah, they were born at the same time.
Yeah, we're assuming because they're the same age at around this time. One of them's not older than the other, like.
That's the thing, is that, like, do we know for sure that this is... Do we know for sure... Like, they said that... No, they do say that Omega and Boba are brother and sister. Like, so they are... Omega is a Jango Fett clone.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shot that that could be a lie, or like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I've always just assumed, I don't think there's any reason to believe that it would be anything else.
Why have we never seen any more women? Like, why is Omega and now Amari? What's her name?
Emery.
Yeah, why only them two? Why are these the only two female clones ever? You know, like, is it difficult to do that? And this is like the first step in, I don't know, like, is it difficult to I guess their whole research was trying to find mutations that they can make to clones, and that was all difficult, and even the slightest little mutation you gave could fuck them up. So is changing the whole gender, you know, is that like, did that seem impossible, but they did it with Omega and Emery? I don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, that's my thing, is that, like, I've never, like, obviously I did it first, but I think they're just not really gonna give us a reason why they're women. I don't think that's ever going to be fulfilled. Like, I don't think we're ever going to find out, oh, why was she specifically cloned to be female? You know, like, I don't anticipate that happening, but I think it's plausible to assume that, given that this woman also grew into a scientist who helps cloning and Nala Se, that's kind of what it seemed like Omega was being trained to do when the Bad Batch took her. So it's kind of like, what if they created this set of clones to help the science side of it?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. They were... yeah, because Nala Se either was just very protective over Omega, or was, like, training her to become, I don't know, like...
That's like, it seems like this Emery takes more after Hemlock.
Yeah.
As far as where she's come from, it doesn't seem like she worked a lot one-on-one with Nala Se.
Maybe kind of, it's like she worked for Kamino, was restricted, and she couldn't research what she truly wanted, but then the Empire came around and was like, hey, we'll let you do the, you know, real research that can do real, you know, the Empire twist on it. And then convinced her to leave, and I don't know, because did she get captured? Was she always with Hemlock? Is, like, how, like, what does that mean? Was
part
she
of me
born at the
wonders
same
if,
time
like,
as Omega, or well before? Does she age different?
Part of me wonders if it's something like the Empire, like, caught wind that a woman clone was, you know, created or whatever, and was like, hold on, like, this could be a breakthrough, like, we want to pull her in and integrate her into the Empire, do our own studies or testing or something of that sort. It didn't really work, so now it's like, you're just going to work for us in, like, some sort of capacity, and, like, does that make, because that's why, like, to me, like, maybe it seems to me like it almost, like, didn't really work out with what they had intended with her, and that's why they want Omega so bad. But maybe I'm just, like, grasping at straws here.
No, I can't. I like that idea. The only thing that I could come up with that was even remotely plausible was that there's been some other Kaminoan contingent that Hemlock has been working for years, because to ascend to the head of the Imperial Science Division and be running, like, clone experiments and stuff, it doesn't imply that you just happen to start fucking with cloning. You know, it gives the vibe that you've been around.
His hand, like, I feel like his hand, it's always gloved up or, like, covered up, and he always holds it. I feel like it's like something went wrong in it, like a past experiment, you know, for him. Like, maybe he tried to do something to himself, you know, or something like that.
Right.
And that's why, because,
like the lizard.
That's what I was trying to think.
Yeah.
Was he just doing cloning the whole time, and that's what got him to climb the ranks? I don't. Who know? Like, this, but I don't know. Jimmy Simpson.
That's my performance for 14, man. He's crazy.
Oh, dude, yeah, he like dominated the episode for sure. He was in it, like, he popped up so many times, and he does so well with it.
And dude, I want so badly for that character to not die in the Bad Batch, so that Jimmy Simpson can play Hemlock in live action also, because
That'd
Jimmy
be
Simpson is
nice.
a fucking incredible actor.
Yes, he is.
I would love to see him perform it in live action as well, because he's killing the voice. That voice acting is incredible.
Where would it be likely that we would see him in live action, like Mando or something? Or
probably
is
Andor.
That nonsense? Andor.
Andor would make the most sense to me, because it kind of feels like it feels like Pershing's kind of the successor to Hemlock in some way, as far as taking over his studies, but not approaching them the same sort of. Kyler, you haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I know that Joe has the sort of Qyburn vibe that Hemlock has. I got kicked out of the academy for the fucking horrifying experiments I was performing on people.
Like, perfect, you're hired.
Yeah, exactly. He gives those vibes big time. Kind of like that scientist from Andor that develops the tech to, was it Gorsh? Dr. Gorsh, the Gorsh method or something like that. Torturous screams. Yeah.
Ew.
So like, I feel like Hemlock and that guy would be boys. They'd be down. They'd kick back and grab a couple spotchkas.
I guess the goal of this research now is just to, like, they don't know the secrets that the Kamino, it's a secret. Like, the Kaminoans didn't let anyone else know how they cloned, because they, obviously they make way more money that way. And so they're just trying to get it out of Nala Se. So I guess, like, the Empire doesn't need Omega, right? It's just that they want the Kaminoan secret, and that Nala Se,
Yeah, it has anything to do with Omega specifically yet.
Yeah.
Like, I think Nala Se will let something slip that's like, that gives away a reason.
I can see this.
Special.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
see this.
oh, fuck yeah. Fuck Nala Se then. Let's just figure out what to do with this chick,
Oh.
I can see that. I like that direction. I hate it, but I see it.
No, yeah.
What if, like, that's the secret? That's or I guess maybe Emery is too, I don't know, but maybe, like, in order to keep clones being born, you need one female to be, like, the mother. You need a mother and a father, but that's the mistake that all scientists have forgotten, is that they're just, like, all trying to clone one person, but, like, actually you need to clone one female first, and then you use that clone female to make all the rest of the baby clones, or, I don't know. Maybe that's the secret. The big holy fuck is that you have to have, I don't know. Like, that's why they were so protective of Omega, and that's why they needed her. That's why she ages slower than everyone else, is because they just would need her for a long time, and just to stay there, just to keep her DNA, I don't know, or whatever it is. But obviously, the Kaminoans know something that the Empire does not, or that no one else knows.
Again, I do think it is going to be specifically relevant to, I think Omega is going to be specifically special on accident. I don't think she's going to have served a purpose for the Kaminoans. That's kind of like I think I still like the idea that Nala Se knows something about Omega that nobody else does, that she just didn't let slip, and then she made her right hand gal to follow around and mentor and stuff, so that she could keep a close eye on her, and when she couldn't anymore, because Lama Su seems to also know whatever's important about Omega, because why else would they keep trying to fucking get her via bounty hunters and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, had sent her, like, and again, that was the original reason we went with the idea that she's a pure Strand cast, and they just want her to be able to continue cloning the Jango Fett army at all, because she has nothing but 100% pure Strand cast DNA. But that's, like, is there an angle where Nala Se, that's why Nala Se is doing it, but Lama Su, or that's why Lama Su is doing it, but Nala Se has, like, a bigger reason, like, oh shit, well, that really can't happen because of this. And whatever.
Okay, I see. So it's all okay. whatever the secret is with Omega probably leads to the secret. Maybe it's not Omega is the secret herself, but like through Omega will the Empire learn something that allows them. Yeah, okay. And we have a long time, until that happens. Like a long time, and Snoke is still even like fucked up. Like it's still going through like experiments even in the sequel era.
Snoke
so like
does have on Wikipedia, which can be overwritten, a birth year.
Oh.
They say he was born at the latest 12 BBY, which is still about 8 years after the fall of the Republic and rise of the Empire. So Snoke would be alive during Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi and shit like that, but would not be alive for Bad Batch yet.
So yeah, they did say that Snoke, he saw the rise and the fall. Yeah, they always said that, but like, was it just? But like, Snoke was Palpatine, and obviously Palpatine saw the rise and the fall. But like,
the people who say that about him do not know.
They don't know that he's Palpatine, so it is that Snoke was actually alive during that. Okay. Yeah, duh. Yeah, because Wow. Okay. So we have a little, but we still have time to get there. He's not born. Like we still have. There are a lot of research needs to be done. They need to figure out a lot.
With like, again, I don't know when that was set into place. Like, if that was set into place pre-Rise of Skywalker, before we knew for sure he was a clone, that could be fucking anything then. Like, because of the accelerated aging thing. Like, he could be born around the time of The Mandalorian and be seemingly 100 years old on the surface come 25 years later, But that's another thing. Like, how, like, due to the fact that Snoke is actually a fucking ancient evil Sith Lord who's disguising himself as another guy, it's hard to be able to say exactly how old Snoke actually is, because even if he was born in 12 BBY, that would mean he's like 48, 49 in The Last Jedi. Does that look like that's like the same age as like fucking Din Djarin, Like, no. It's these guys are not the same age.
Oh man, the story is it's getting so interesting, and they're involving the sequels. Like I don't know, it's really like we're talking about the sequels right now, but we're in.
Well, there's this connection also to Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, when Pershing explains that what he was trying to do was combine two different strands of DNA to create like the perfect entity. So like the perfect health, it would fix anything if you can sear two different forms of DNA together. And is there a chance Omega could be the stepping stones to that? Like Hemlock figures something out, because again, like the fact that Pershing wears that fucking Kaminoan sigil implies that he learned from the Kaminoans in some capacity. And if Nala Se is the one who teaches them, there could be something there.
Ooh. Maybe Nala Se, while they get to work in a lab, but they're under watch and they can't leave. Maybe she pulls like an Iron Man sort of thing and works in secret and like, in the background, and she clones the Kaminoan people back. She's like, all my people are gone. I guess, well, do we ever see Kaminoans in the sequels and stuff? They're probably, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I was looking up. We do not see Kaminoans in the sequel, but I was looking up Pershing's Wikipedia to see if there was like a birth date for him, to see how that would line up with this. And there is no birth date, but like his home world, I thought it was extremely funny that it says his home world is an astronomical object.
Ooh.
What the fuck does that mean?
Anything in space that is not man-made, I guess.
It would.
He was born on it could be a sun, a planet, an asteroid, a comet, a meteor,
an
a moon.
astronomical object. It also could just be a really, really big thing that humans did make. What if he was born on the Death Star? And he's actually like 12.
Damn. Is he? I guess there's like. Is he dead? Is he brain dead? Is he mind washed? Like I've been seeing so many things on him where it's like he's either brainwashed and going to work for the Empire, but like, and then other people are like, oh no, he's dead. Like he can't even function anymore. So
I take it as that thing
fried his brain.
Because it can go that high. Like you guys have seen Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
You know what they did to Eleven's birth mom. She's like sunflower, rainbow.
That's gonna be Pershing. Yeah, he's gonna be. Yeah,
he's gonna be sitting in a chair, just rocking back and forth, repeating the same phrase over and over. Probably like something along the lines of "Trap Cain, Gideon, Trap Cain."
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Nala, what does Nala say? No, what does she know about Omega? And why is it? What would be the big? What's the purpose of Omega having a sister? You know, like for the story, I guess.
I think the reason she's like presented a dire loyalty to the Bad Batch is they're her brothers, you know, like that's why she wanted to be with, like, she wanted to roll with them. She wanted to be with them is because they are her brothers and she looks at them as her brothers. So like, I think it's to provide a little bit of like a, come on, like help us sort of thing with her sisters. Like, it would make her more easily susceptible to the ideas of an entity like this. However, I think the point is going to be that the Bad Batch has made her so good that she will be incorruptible at the hands of this Imperial entity. However, she's also a child. That's a very young person. And while she has a lot of agency and she's spent a lot of time with good people around, surrounded by the Bad Batch, you know, the Empire is pretty fucked up. They can figure a lot of shit out. So, like, you know, who knows? Who knows what happens to Omega?
Wow.
I don't.
I see. I guess let's just think of the state where we're at. We got Crosshair, Omega,
captured,
and Mount Tantus, and Nala Se is there. That's okay. And then we just have, I guess Hunter and Echo and Wrecker, they're probably going to go to Rex and be like, yo, we need to get all the help, you know, we can get. We need to, I guess their main objective is just finding where they're even at in the first place.
Right.
Like, that's going to be the biggest thing, because why even ask for help? You know, if they ask for help, it's like, well, what do you want me to, you know, when do we do
it?
They
could ask for help as far as like because there is a connection there. They've been saving clones who were being taken there. Ryo Chuchi in episode 14 is like, we have to find out where that shipment was going, where that ship was going, where you guys were going. So like, they aren't the only ones who are looking. Ryo Chuchi is also in a senatorial position, much deeper embedded within the Empire, who is actively searching for where this place is too, which is going to be hugely helpful, I'm assuming. I think Ryo Chuchi is going to be a big part in trying to get Omega back and finding Mount Tantus, which I really, really appreciate, because I fucking love Ryo Chuchi. That little scene with her and Echo where you know, she says to him like, be careful, Echo, and she puts her hand on his shoulder and he's like, yeah, I got this. I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. I think that I liked that. It was a nice little moment.
There were nice, just really, like, Wrecker is coming into like his own, like, I guess my line for which episode, I want to make sure I get the episode right. Yeah, it's episode 15. Whenever they're like, well, we're going to need to make this precise, you know, we only get 30 seconds before the sensor turns back on. And Texos, so we will have to be precise. And then right when he says that, everyone turns around, looks at Wrecker, like, all at the same time, and he just goes, "Oh, handle it!" You know, it's just, I don't know. I love the cute little moments they have. Like,
Dude, all of them looking back at him at the same time was fucking adorable. Yeah. I loved that.
Oh God! So I chose that for my line because I couldn't. I don't know, a whole scene. That's not really a scene, you know. It's just him, like, preparing to hop up there.
I think that would that clear out the favorites for 14. Do we have all of them, or Kyler? Have you presented a character and performance?
I don't think I've done character performance. Yeah, I'm going Omega for 14. I'm going Omega 14 for the character, and yeah, let's just go with her voice actress. I know the name.
Michelle Long.
Yeah, I'm horrible with the names. I forget them every week. It's just deja vu.
I get you.
I'm gonna go with her. I have to give it to her for 14 because I'm going to go a different route in either one of 15 or 16. I haven't made my mind up yet, so I just want to make sure I give her the flowers. Plus, like Joe talked about with the flying scene earlier, it was just like such a standout moment. And now after knowing what happens, like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to have to cherish that.
The last nice little moment.
At least she learned the tech turn while she could. From the man
still
himself,
alive in some way. I hope she starts wearing his goggles.
Oh my God! Fucking Emery has red goggles now. Omega has to have her own, yes, and she's gonna need them for research. She's gonna realize that they're so helpful, and maybe do the little visor thing herself. She's gonna. Oh, dude, no.
What I'm fully preparing for, Omega's outliving all of them, right?
Yeah.
I'm preparing for Omega with the tech goggles, the hunter headband, tattooing a crosshair over her eye, fucking like just going nuts with it, you know. And those are the only ones that she can really do without permanently disforming herself for like Wrecker or Echo. She'd have to like scar half her face and.
Oh no, we just haven't seen her grow yet. She just hasn't hit puberty, but when she hits puberty, she grows like Wrecker. She just actually becomes
jacked.
Yeah, she's huge. Yeah, so she'll just develop Wrecker naturally.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, Echo, that's going to be a tough one. Don't think you can do a lot to replicate Echo without being tortured continuously and taken apart and put back together.
Well, luckily. In this case, he's not a true member of the Bad Batch and an honorary member. So, like, it wouldn't be an actual mutation.
He wasn't born a Batch.
Yeah.
There
wouldn't. Yeah. So it's all good. Maybe I guess foreshadowing of what she eventually becomes. I don't know. A lot of people start to get their hands chopped off though, so maybe she just has, you know, a robotic hand, and then when she does, she's like, well. Echo had that, and it was really useful, so might as well, you know.
Maybe a little switcheroo thing going on.
Oh, she actually gets Echo's, and it is his. Like, no.
Maybe it's just like Echo's armor or something. I don't know. There could be something there.
But I don't know. I hope this show goes on for quite a while. I hope we get just. Maybe each season one batch member dies, you know? I don't want that to happen, but then it would let it go for a while.
I have a theory, at least for the story they're telling right now. Whatever next season will be the last season of this arc of trying to get Crosshair back and trying to get him back on the batch and making sure everybody's okay and stuff, because it seems like the goal of this show is to settle down now. Like finally find a spot where we can be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think they can get that done in another season, given how close we get in this one. It was the Empire Strikes Back of the Bad Batch season trilogy. You know, like we're ending on a low note. Wow, we really got our ass beaten that one. God damn. But we're just over halfway there. Everything ends up wrapping itself up in that third movie. Everything will wrap itself up in this third season, I think. And beyond that, maybe they, I could see them continuing the show in some capacity, but it would have to be a whole new story, like as far as like the direction of it. Because I don't know how much longer we can do the Crosshair, getting him back on our side and trying to achieve peace. Like those seem like the goals. If you do that for more than another season.
Wow. That's true. We did say that, like, oh, this season it's either Crosshair is dying or like making a sacrifice play whenever like or something, or like he rejoins the group somehow. And
with Tech dead, 100% Crosshair doesn't die. For my money.
Now, yeah. It's going to be a while before they kill someone else, right? It's probably another season finale if they do it. I don't know, least, or like midway.
Like I have the feeling that none of the I don't think another one of them will die. I think that was it. Now the stakes are that high. Any of them could die, but they won't. You know,
I think all of them go to like old age.
It's still a kid's show. Like, you can't kill that many of like a core group of characters. Like, you just can't. Like, now, am I happy that Tech was the one that had to fall on the sword? Fuck, no, I'm not. But I also don't really know if there's anyone you would want to die. It's just one of those things where, like, Colton kind of nailed it. Like, the stakes have been, like, yeah, they show they mean business. They have killed a character. Like, now it's like, probably get really close to losing someone, and maybe they pulled a trope like Samuel L. Jackson style Winter Soldier, or fucking Don Cheadle style, where it's like, oh my god, we're gonna lose somebody, and then it's like, that just kidding.
Not quite. Like, they'll be trying in some capacity.
But at least now, like, someone has been lost, so the threat is always there, and anytime something happens, you're gonna be like, oh my god, is it really?
Yeah, and you know, there's you look back at Rebels. Lost one character there. We lost Kanan in that. You look back at Clone Wars, and of that like core group of clones, I'm pretty sure Jesse and Fives were the ones that bit the dust and stuff. And it's like, you know, there could be a couple more characters, but there were so many characters in the Clone Wars that you could afford losing a couple of them. This one, there's 6 of them that you're like,
that's it. That's the squad. It's the Bad Batch. It's just them.
There's got to be enough to still be a batch, you know. It can't just be 3 of them.
It can't be a gaggle.
Yeah, a few, if you will.
Man,
the bad few.
Have we even mentioned Saw Gerrera yet?
We've not. My boy fucked up. I can't lie.
The one time
that he really reached for some shit there.
Colton actually texted me the words, "Fuck Saw Gerrera."
That doesn't happen every day.
That's insane, but like in this case, I mean, he's kind of responsible.
He cost Tech his life.
Yeah.
And before he did so, he inadvertently told him it was worth it to do such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, like, what, you expect me to sacrifice this mission for people's lives? Are you fucking kidding me? I am trying to fight an empire here. For a few prisoners' lives, yeah, that is what I am asking you to sacrifice.
The information, though, that's where it's really, you know, where Tech really says, he says, if you destroy the space, you lose all chance of any information that you could have gained here. And even if you do succeed and kill these top-ranking officials, someone will fill their place just the same.
Straight up, as a revolutionary idealist, I'm hoping this is a learning experience for Saw. It does not make sense if you are trying to build a force to fight Imperials. If you are a true revolutionary idealist, one of your platforms should probably be liberation and getting people out from under the boot of the Empire, not just taking down the Empire no matter who's at the cost of. You want to rally people to your side, and who better than those who have been directly wronged by the Empire? The clones. Doesn't make a lot of sense tactically or in any capacity. That's a spot where you are presented a better option than the one you have at this very moment. And you go, you know what? That's a good fucking point. Let's do that.
He is young.
He's so fucking...
He's young.
The thing that I love about him, that he always, you know, I am the only one with strength of purpose. Fucking Saw. Like, he thinks he's right no matter what. And that's... While it makes him a fun character to watch and follow, it makes him a bit difficult to watch and follow at times as well.
Yeah. Makes him a horrible, horrible person to encounter in this exact scenario.
In this exact scenario, it would be rough.
In this,
you happen to get in the middle of one of his missions when you were not a part of the plan. You are collateral at that point. Like if
sacrificial lamb, some would say.
One might.
That whenever Saw popped up and had that little convo with Tech and Hunter, that was my favorite scene of episode.
It was also my favorite scene.
15.
Saw, I mean, like if Saw Gerrera is in a Star Wars thing,
come on.
It's going to be one of my favorite things of that episode at minimum. He also delivered my favorite line.
Saw did?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Saw did.
Saw did. I didn't even realize I did that. Wow.
Yeah, things happen. No, let's see. I thought he did. Yeah. I told you on Onderon you had a choice to make. Looks like you've made it. Like he's like, I see you. You're not with the Empire. You fucking them up too. I like it. I like it a lot. And then obviously things take a turn. But at first it was nice and friendly, and I was like, yeah, Saw, woo, my guy. And I was like, well, this isn't gonna go good though, because I also know who Saw was, and I was like, well, things are gonna go wrong.
Yeah,
the shit this man did on Inu Sagi, only second to accidentally killing Tech. That's a book thing. He
I was gonna say I got
massacred a room full of wealthy people that were Imperial loyalists with like, you know, the things Green Goblin uses to like slice up Spider-Man. Like he throws the bombs at him and they like
do the little
open up and they're like
yeah
giant blades. He did that to like a room full of people.
Just because they were
Imperial
loyalists to the straight up. He's like, all right, got to kill you.
Yeah,
I'll do it in
Jin
this
saw
way.
that, was like, I don't know if I'm 100% on board with this guy's tactics. You know, that seems a little extreme.
Damn. Well, I mean, at least he's not on the side of the Empire. Yeah, this sucks. This does hurt.
And it doesn't even pay off, bro. It doesn't even pay off.
Yeah, Tarkin and all of them just sit there like, what just happened? Oh, explosion below us? Cool. Well, okay, we can still do whatever. Let's go back to the meeting. What's up, boys? How are we going to kill all the other people today? You know, like they just went back to business as usual. Like, what the fuck? Come on, Saw.
Director Krennic, how is Project Stardust?
That was nice. That was nice to hear. You know, like, hearing Tarkin's voice just as awesome, and then you have, like, Jimmy Simpson just, every time he speaks, I'm just like, oh my god. Thank you for being on the show. I almost, like, wanted to give him a performance nod for these last two episodes. We're like, come on. Yeah, right. I
actually went with Michelle Ong.
Yeah. It's either...
times.
It's someone from the batch, you know, because, and I went with D. Bradley Baker for both, and I chose Hunter for the first, and then Tech for the last episode, and really it's for D. Bradley Baker just in general, because holy shit, did he have to go through every character's emotions, like. I don't know, he's talking to himself. You know, he's like Seth MacFarlane on Family Guy, but like for here. You know, he's like having a conversation with himself that's emotional and makes me cry, and it's like, D. Bradley Baker, you're too good at what you do.
That man's the shit. Yeah, no. So. And that's the logical choice, I think. I think that's the smart one. That's the just all around the performances this man gives week after week. If we're doing season favorites, D. Bradley Baker has to be your favorite voice actor on this show, just because he is almost every character on the show. That's just too strong. But I did go Michelle Ong as Omega simply because in the second to last one, I've just always liked Omega's voice acting. I've always thought that was very solid, but it was the second one that really did it. When Tech goes down and she's like, "No, we have to get down there." It's just, dude, heartbreaking. That's you know, I'm already tearing up because Tech is taking the dive. It's Plan 99. The way the music drops out, the way he just aims up, and like, there's this little moment where like Omega has this look of horror on her face. The music drops out. It cuts to Tech, and he's got his like head down. All you see is his visor, and all you hear is he lets out like a sigh, and you're like, "Oh fuck? That's when you're like, oh, something's really about to happen, huh?
It's actually happening. And then when Wrecker says, Tech, don't you do it?
Yeah.
And plan.
We ever followed orders. That's the line. That's the easy line, bro.
That's my line.
Yeah.
I think it's the line. The only reason I had something else is because I was trying to spread the love, but like, how can I not go with Tech's final line?
Yeah, man.
Like, the only reason I put this one on here is because I wanted to mention it so I wouldn't forget it. But it's whenever Wrecker's already been captured by Hemlock, and Wrecker is now being taken in, and he's captured. Omega hasn't shown herself yet, so Hemlock's still looking for her, and Hunter's like, yeah, you're never gonna get her. He says she's long gone. Like I said, Omega's not going anywhere with you. Like, it was just such a paternal, like I don't know. He said it with such like,
it was emphatic.
I'm okay with being captured. I know what's about to happen to me. I know I'm about to get tortured out the ass, but I don't care because she's long gone, sort of thing. And I just, that's why, I don't know, Hunter like did pretty well, like in this season. He was like the main character in the, obviously, and we've always been like, we need more of these other characters. So I think we've kind of like just let the other characters get their flowers, and they have, but Hunter like has still remained the constant that he is. Like, he's just, I don't know.
Man's the shit. I love Hunter with all my fucking heart.
But man, since when have we followed orders? Like, that's your last line, and then now, like,
that's my line. I'm gonna go performance-wise. I want to give it to D. Bradley Baker because there was some emotion in some of the lines, and I know we typically dumb it to like one character that he portrayed, but like, I look back at the episode and like there was moments where each character spoke with such like just brutal like emotion and expression. And it's like I said, like, I can always appreciate that so much more in animation because it's like there is zero physical acting being done. You have to portray something that someone has drawn, and you have to portray it in a voice to make me believe it. And like, that just will always hit so hard. And like Hunter talking to Omega, Wrecker when he's talking to Sid, talking about like, what did you do? And, like the moment that somebody mentioned, or Joe mentioned on the like little card or whatever, when like he knew he was about to do it, and Tech, those like emotion packed lines he had, like, it's just, you could get everything you needed out of every moment. The urgency when they're trying to make the plan and execute, the just emotion with Tech and the rest of them when they know what's about to happen and what like he's gonna have to do. The aftermath of that, the emotion, just like everything about it, D. Bradley Baker absolutely knocked it out of the park. I got to give it to him for like everyone, because
I agree. And like, there's this point before Tech has fallen, and they're all on the line, they're all in danger, and like, something bad's gonna happen, but you don't know what specifically, because in the back of your head, you're like, they don't all die. They can't all die, but there's something there that like you're still on the edge of your fucking seat. Whenever they are stuck in the middle of nowhere, they can't move, they can't hide, and they call in air support, and there are 3 ships coming, and Hunter goes, there's 3 ships coming, and Omega's like, well, I can't see them, and then like they're fucked. The music again drops out. They start firing, and like there's that part where Hunter, this would have been my favorite performance from D. Bradley Baker in the episode. Tech hasn't fallen or anything yet. And Hunter goes, Tech, we need power. He's like, we are fucked. Like, we are going to die if something doesn't change right this second. And like, it was that moment that made me go, oh, there's something wrong. Like, something bad is going to happen. And it was because of that delivery, the framing, everything that happened in that moment was like, I don't know what bad is about to happen, but I know it will, and I'm not going to be happy with it. And when you can set a tone like that, and then immediately after, whenever they start zooming, and they're like, I can't get it to stop, and he's like, I don't know, it's fried. They're panicking.
Echo, like, it's slipping off the track, and you're like, oh my god, it's about to fall. Like, they're about, like, holy, yeah, you're like,
They are panicking. They don't know what's happening. Yeah. I don't know what's happening, and it's all the scarier because of that. Like the way that and then paralleling Omega having this like hazy experience where she keeps falling asleep and waking up and falling asleep and waking up, kind of paralleling Hunter from season 1 when he got shot by Cad Bane and they had to get him out of there. I don't know if you remember that, but that was exactly what they showed us from Hunter's perspective. And that's just so cool. It's such a cool tactic, man. It looks so good every time. Yeah. Just like that whole sequence was fucking brilliant in this episode.
I mean, that's the thing, is that with another show that I'll gripe about in another day, another episode, which I truly still love, is the thing. It's just I can't get over one thing. They are having, like, they don't exposition the ass out of the show. They just show. They just do the things. I don't know. Like, they're not saying what they're doing. We're just seeing what's happening, and I'm feeling it 10 times more. Like,
there's also something to be said. The other, Mandalorian, I would say, compared to this, like, there hasn't been a moment this season that made me feel the way that moment in this episode did. And I know it's a finale, something bad is happening, but even after the bad thing happened, I'm still there. I'm still riveted. Something else bad could happen. And there's no stakes right now in The Mandalorian. And I'm okay with that. It makes every episode nice and easy, nice and fun. But there's got to be something that makes me go, oh no, my favorites might be fucked.
Yeah. Like, I literally was watching the Mando episode, and I kind of thought, while Din's flying around in the N1, he has Grogu sitting right in front of him. And that's just the show's way of... Uh-oh. Going.
That's...
Oh, maybe no. I think now we're back. Now your video's going.
No, this is all sorts of fucked.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. But
one.
Almost. I'm assuming he's switching Wi-Fi's and he's gonna come back and oh.
Man, that was yes. I doubt you heard hardly any of that then, huh?
Yeah, no. I think we were. Let's see. What was the last thing that we were?
The stakes is what I was talking about.
0 stakes, and that was basically where it stopped.
Yeah. No, I was just commenting on how there's just no, like, in The Mandalorian right now, there's no entity that makes me feel threatened. And I know it's the end of the season in the Bad Batch. The stakes are naturally higher. Something big is going to happen. It's the end of the season. And this show's tone leads you to believe that. Like, there's something's going to happen. You don't know what.
Yeah. I mean, it's Mandalorian, they have the biggest plot armor device at Grogu. Like, if Grogu is with anyone, you know for a fact that they're good. Like, Din, literally, okay, like, whenever Din is in the N1 piloting, Grogu's sitting right there in front of him. That's like literal plot armor. That N1 cannot blow up. It can't. Din is completely safe, and he's wearing the plot armor like right on him. It's like, I don't know. It's just Din's got Beskar, and then he's got Grogu, and then Grogu's got Beskar chainmail, and then another layer of Beskar. So like, they're just showing you like the layers of plot armor that these characters got. And there's a difference. I don't know. There's two different sides. Is when there is no stakes, I can just have a fun time and a blast just seeing what these characters can do, because Din's turning into a badass in his own right. Grogu is as well, like Bo-Katan is. So like, everything's going well and it's cool, but I just don't have that emotional stake in the show. The Bad Batch, I was a mess when I ugly cried this today because of tech.
No,
I have not ugly cried because of The Mandalorian yet, you know?
No, yeah, and I think not in season 3. Yeah, by any means.
I ugly cry. Okay, yeah, fair. I cannot say that is true for seasons 1 or 2 because I did ugly cry.
Yeah, no, that fucked me up. And those seasons had they had stakes. You know, there was something that seemed insurmountable. The moment when those 3 ships come in for air support against the Bad Batch, stranded in the middle of nowhere. That was the Dark Troopers banging on the door like they're fucked. The way Moff Gideon's like, you know, that when they get through this door, you will die. I will live, and I will have the child. Like, you're fucked. There is no way out of that. And right now, there was an allusion to the fact that the Dark Troopers existed a few episodes earlier. There was all this. And The Mandalorian, I don't even know who would be the problem in the last couple episodes besides Imperials in general, and I don't know what stake they would have. It would just be that they're the Empire and that they want to get rid of the Mandalorians who wronged them. You know, like that's all it would be. And so like it's just a different thing. With this, it's like everything is so personal. Everything is like they are trying to get Omega. They are hunting the Bad Batch. They don't like they are at risk specifically. And the other layer, the clones in general are at risk.
Yeah, they can't just go anywhere. Yeah, it's I don't know. The show, I always watch Mando first, and then I watch The Bad Batch. And every week so far, I've been, wow, I was more into that 20-minute, 30-minute Bad Batch episode than I was for however many millions they spent on this you know, like, I don't know. It's just I'm not.
I am excited next week to discuss episode 5 of The Mandalorian because for the first time this season, I'm super excited about where the show might actually be heading. But previously, I've been like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Who's what's where? And I understand that the story has to unfold as it will unfold and all that, et cetera, et cetera. It's taking a little bit of time to get there. And if they're setting up a couple seasons, that's cool. If all that setup was for the next 4 episodes, I'll be kind of like, wow, that was an awful lot of setup. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. They've always seemed to do it, so I'll trust them. And but hey, this show is complete, and we can talk about its season in whole. And I do know that it was fucking amazing. And we were talking off mic about kind of like a scale. You have on one end Andor, and on the other end Mando. Where does the Bad Batch slide in there? And I said,
and that's not to imply that Mandalorian is the worst show.
No.
No, that's not what that's meant to imply. It's just if there is a scale from Andor to Mando.
I am implying that Andor is better than the Mandalorian, and by
1,000%.
By a good amount at that. So like there is a sizable gap.
Even if they are 1 and 2, there is a sizable gap.
Yeah, very sizable. So where does the Bad Batch fall in there? I guess this season specifically. And I think it's closer to Andor. I think it's like not halfway. Like I think it's actually closer to Andor than it is closer to the Mandalorian. Like it is the craft. Like it is actually well thought out. Like I don't know, the story, like every episode I'm even held in. The only times that at the end of an episode I wasn't a wreck or a mess or either holy shit that just happened was whenever it was a 2-episode arc where they released them back to back because they knew they would be released back to back. Like this, like the episode 15, like at the end of the car they're like, oh, this is bad, and then we got right back into it, you know. So it was like basically a one big episode. But I don't know, it's just the pacing of this show was done so like it's so much nicer when you can have 16 episodes to sit with your characters. Like we have double the amount of episodes that we're getting from Mando, and we have I'd say more than double the emotional stake into the show, like more than double the emotional stake. I care about Grogu and Mando because they're Star Wars and Grogu's cute as fuck, and I don't want him to die, obviously, but like I know way more cute little quirks of the Bad Batch. You know, I know like their personalities better. Din is just kind of, we don't really have a lot to Din yet. You know, he's pretty one-dimensional. It's just protect Grogu right now. It's about it, you know, and it's like, or be proud of him and show him new moves, or like, it's I don't know. There's no other arc. I don't know. It's just
here. Okay. Interesting parallel I kind of want to make as like, we've kind of moved into like a little bit more of a concrete idea of where this season at least is with Grogu and Din and the company. Is like one thing that I think lends so well for the Bad Batch, and not only as just like, I think animation as the medium helps so much in this regard too, because it just gives it such a deeper sense of like heart in a sense almost. I don't know if that quite clicks, but it does, like with me personally. But also I think like Omega having multiple different role models who are so impactful in such drastically different like ways, if that kind of makes sense. I mean, there's such different personalities, such different like teaching points that they're all going to kind of emphasize and stuff, that it just translates and gives each character such like ready-made, easy, like it's honestly as simple as this, is like every single time you see a character on screen with Omega, it feels like a softball question, as they call it, you know, where like it's just tailor-made to get knocked out of the park. Like, you know what I mean? It just always resonates and it always clicks because like these characters are approaching her and dealing with her and helping her in such a drastically different way. Whereas like, that's one thing that this season of Mandalorian has kind of opened the door to, is that like, and I guess they've kind of done this in the Book of Boba where like Luke and stuff, but it just still felt very like, I don't know, like it just didn't quite like click the same, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
But like, so I'm interested to see the parallel with like this season, like Bo-Katan's kind of taking a little bit more hands-on of a role with Grogu in a sort of sense. You know, the armor had a little moment, which for better or worse, like definitely had an impact on Grogu. So I'm not saying that they should just carbon copy it. I guess I'm just more so like connecting dots between like, I just think that like the Bad Batch, like even when Mando is doing something Bad Batch-esque, like Bad Batch just feels so organic and earned and deserved. Whereas, like, I don't know if I buy that the Armorer should be, like, having this huge, massive teaching moment with Grogu right now.
No. Yeah,
like,
no, 100%. There's also the fact that we might be finally getting to the point where I love my boy. I love my little guy. I love Grogu. But we might be experiencing, you know, how long we can handle the person we're protecting. I think, you know, you talked about how Din's one-dimensional. Doesn't get more one-dimensional than a baby.
You're right.
You know, like it's not his fault.
Well, that's why the Bad Batch works so well. Is Omega is a sponge, and we're experiencing things through her eyes, and we see the lessons that she learns, and then we actually see her utilize the lessons that she learns. Grogu, we are getting that. You know, I think they should focus on it a whole lot more. Like I think that's just why the story works better. It is a child experiencing things for the first time. It's a learning experience every episode. And sometimes even in the episode that you see that learning, you know, be used. With Omega, it's so easy to see like all the inspiration from the Batch and like what they give her. Like Wrecker teaches her to like remain a kid and still have fun and you know, eat a lot of food. I don't know, just have fun in life. Like that's what Wrecker reminds her of. Tech gives her all the technical knowledge and makes sure she keeps up on her studies and teaches her the tech turn, you know, like everything that's, you know, very technical.
You've been continuing your training. As promised. That was an adorable moment too.
Where you think she gets that dead ass accuracy from with that bow? I mean, Crosshair hasn't really taught her much, hasn't really had a lot of moments with Omega, but you know, I guess Crosshair might have taught her to shoot a little. Hunter literally kind of Omega's dad. And teaches her everything else in between, and how to do, like, I don't know, it's amazing. It's just, it works every episode, no matter what situation they're in. And I don't know. If you still hate Omega, like, I don't know. Like, that, like, I can't believe that people are staying away from this show because Omega is annoying. And, like, that's just, I feel like you're not watching the show. Yeah, like, I feel like you're actually not watching the show and you're just saying that because you don't want to watch it. And you're like, oh, here's a reason. The kid's annoying. I don't like the kid. Or it's, like, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but she's the best character in this show.
It's just if there is a young girl or young child, as we learned with Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, there are going to be fans who absolutely fucking hate children for some reason in a franchise that is for children. I don't know, man. Maybe you should just recognize what you like. You do like children's things, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just need to accept a little bit more that, like, the stuff isn't always tailor-made for adults that grew up on it. Some of it is to usher in another era of fandom, and that's what the Bad Batch is doing right now. If there are kids who they're growing up watching the Bad Batch, they don't miss the Clone Wars at all. People who watched the Clone Wars, who grew up on the Clone Wars, can roll right into the Bad Batch, and they should feel good about it. It's scratching every itch the Clone Wars would have if it was a straight up narrative, like just a linear story instead of an anthology. Like it is. I think it's doing everything. It's perfectly mixing Rebels and the Clone Wars as far as art style and storytelling. It's the perfect happy medium, you know? And I still think that, like, the Bad Batch has a little ways to go for it to overtake the top one spot as my favorite Star Wars animation. Rebels is damn good, but it's on its way, especially after the end of this season. It's already been my 2, but now it's even more firmly my 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely there. I put it above Clone Wars, just for how seasons 1 and 2 are both incredible, and they're like incredible in their own right. Clone Wars, you got, it's just a lot. You know, it is like anthology. It's just a different kind of show. You know, you're not getting a linear story, so it is really different. But you're totally right with, like, it's the happy medium. You're getting to go around the whole
found family, like, travel with each other, live on a ship type shit.
Yeah, it's perfect. And it just, I really hope we get, you know, many of seasons of this, or whatever happens, you know, with the batch. I just need more. I need more of them. I don't know.
Batch, man.
You think we see, like, Omega, like, I mean, I guess we see Emery that old. I'm assuming we see Omega get that old. I don't know. Like, do we stick with Omega at this age? Like, how long do we stay? Just
at least another season. Because if like I said, the story they're telling with the seasons 1 and 2 has not been fulfilled.
Yeah,
and until that is, Omega will be a child. We could take a jump forward after this story is fulfilled, after Crosshair is brought back into the fold, after everything with Omega, as far as the whole Kaminoans wanting to hold on to her for some reason. As soon as that gets resolved, like, then we can take a time jump. Then I'd be comfortable with that. But like, if we were to kick off next season and Omega's like, she's 18 now, she's not 12, like, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah,
nope,
that'd be weird. No. Okay, I kind of want to get in just our predictions, just in case we are right. We haven't typed any predictions in a while. But I think just Tech being used somehow by Hemlock, his body or his DNA somehow being used to convince Omega and Nala Se to do some science work, I see happening. And whether that's trying to actually bring him back and all of his memories and stuff, I don't know. I don't want to say that, you know, he's coming back. But I think I think Hemlock, the goggles weren't the only thing recovered, I guess, is the only thing I'm saying is, you know, for sure. Hemlock's lying about what he recovered at the scene. And I guess
I'm with you there.
I'm lost on Amir, like, on the sister situation. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. Like, because I don't know. I guess I'm just going in circles with it because we have no clue where she comes from, why they were made, what their purpose was, and maybe that's the whole secret in itself, is why they were made or how they were made. So I guess we'll just have to wait really to see what this sister situation is about. Because, like, Omega she was born at the same time as the Bad Batch. Is she considered, like, actually one of Clone Force 99 or no? Like, she's separate from Clone Force 99, right?
We think, like, that's our thing, that, like, everything we've ever speculated about, like, does she have an enhancement? We've speculated that she was part of the batch because of an enhancement of some sort, but that's never been confirmed. She's been confirmed to be older than the Bad Batch, actually, not born at the same time.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think about what they could possibly be doing there.
And what's her sister's? I already forgot it.
Emery.
Emery. Is Emery born? Is she? I mean, she looks older, obviously, but Omega ages slower. So, like, were they born at the same time? Actually, like,
yeah, there's no telling, man. Is Emery some sort of experimental unit where they escalated the growth immensely compared to what they did with the clones? Because at the beginning of Attack of the Clones, it's been 10 years since the commissioning of an army, and the clones are supposed to be about 20. Like, they age twice as fast. Is there any chance they increase that? They get even older? And
I guess my other theory is that somehow Narkina 5 is involved, and that's where all the clones are going, and they're sending them to, similar, like, maybe it's not Narkina 5 actually, but it's just one of the other things that many people were sent to. Like, we see in Andor, whenever, like, you're kind of, you go to court and then you're sent to wherever, but you're like, it's like a shipping depot, and like, it goes off into many different branches. And maybe one of the branches is, like, if you're a clone, you obviously go to the clone prison where you make whatever. And, so it's, in Andor, we saw the Death Star being built, and that's what Narkina 5 was for, but maybe the clone prison is building the Final Order, starting now,
Yeah, what if they're all the... and the acolytes at the end of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's not actually the Sith. Like,
it's
not actually Sith. It's just like, hey, we need to look scary, so we just need to start stockpiling clones. We need a big crowd eventually for this fight. I want it to be badass, so I need all you guys to get in these cloaks and start chanting whenever I tell you to. All right, let's.
I've never even considered that to be actually all the Sith. I've always just taken that to be people who are Sith cultists. Like, they worship and follow the Sith, and they are actually...
Oh, I thought it was just like all the Sith souls, I don't know. I just thought it was just kind of like the embodiment of all this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no. Yeah, I guess you're right. It probably would just be the sick, actual, real followist people. Would he let him on Exegol, though? You think? That many people?
I think there's a distinct chance that they
already followers?
Existed. They already exist. Like,
they just live forever there?
Yeah, who are just...
They just worship the Sith, and they're
this is their thing. They worship.
I guess they live for. Oh, damn! But that's the cool thing, though, is that, like, even with Mando and all the gripes I have, whatever, and Bad Batch, they are, like, contextualizing the sequels in a way that's, like, only enhancing them. It's only making it better. You can say whatever you want about the sequels, whatever, but, like, it is getting me to think of, like, I'm cool with Palpatine being here now because it's making all this cool story, like, that's the main gripe everyone has with the sequel, like, somehow Palpatine returned. Oh no, boo-hoo. Like, now it's kind of, well, if we don't have Palpatine, we don't have this Omega storyline, and we don't have this cloning stuff, and we don't have all this cool shit. So it's like
storyline.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's enhancing the sequels, and whether, I don't think that's what they're trying to do with Mando or the Bad Batch, but it's working so far.
Are part of it.
So,
I think it's what a lot of the TV shows, like the Clone Wars, was meant to enhance the prequel trilogy, and it did just that. You know, like it's okay for these things to exist to better the things around them. They also exist to tell the story they want to tell, but like that's just an added little bonus that can come with it. But do we have any final thoughts on this season of The Bad Batch? Do we
I guess, do we want to give like overall favorites for anything? I don't know. Because I was trying to think, maybe an overall favorite character is interesting. I think it'd probably be Tech, just because Tech, he shined this season. Like, holy fuck, Tech was on one. Obviously, because they knew he would be dead at the end of the season, so they made him shine. I was actually thinking about Fee. She's a sleeper. I don't know, like, Fee is just, like, as a character, just really cool. We thought that she was just kind of like a pirate that was saying that she was doing the things for good. That was her facade to make her think that she was doing good things. But then we actually learn that she's taking these things so that the people of that culture could have it, as a refugee and living in, and I'm like, oh my God, holy shit. That's just such a cool little spot of the Star Wars universe that exists now.
That is a great character who was introduced. I would, if I was going season-long favorite, again, going mathematics here, I think I picked Omega like 8 out of 16 times.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or something like that.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because that was what I was thinking about today. I was like, I would love to see a comparison to season 1 favorites of how many times Hunter was picked if we had done it. Did we do it? I don't even. We
didn't do that in season 1.
Yeah,
this is
I would love to see how often Hunter would have came up in season 1 compared to like this year. I don't know if anyone picked him. Like maybe in the first couple episodes. I feel like I'd maybe picked him like episode 1 or 2 or some shit like that. No,
he wasn't picked at all.
That's wild.
Yeah,
not saying I'm mad at it. Like, that's just wild.
And he was still a great character. It's not like they let him sit back. And I was so glad that they let him sit back. That was a major plus on this season of the show, was allowing Tech and Echo specifically to actually have a story element this season. It made a lot of sense. It made me very happy, and the fact that he was still there, he was just a constant. It wasn't like he was sidelined. He was still in the episodes. He was there. He was supportive of his team, and he even made developments over the course of the season, even though he wasn't that prominent. Like, by the end of the show, whenever he's talking to Omega and he's like, "Would you like that? Is that something you would like?" He's officially done deciding for everybody. He is asking Omega what she would like to do, and if she says no to that, he goes, all right, then we'll figure, he'd be like, well, then we'll figure something else out. That's where he's at now. And I love that about Hunter's leap in development over the course of this season.
Yeah. In all my talk of Fee and she's a sleeper pick, I can't give it to anyone other than Tech. Like, it wasn't sitting right on the sheet. But it's either Tech or Omega this season. Like Omega, she's not, like, it sounds weird to say, but like, she kind of caused a lot of problems season 1. She was a kid. Right. She didn't know what she was doing. She caused a lot of problems, and like, it was, she was the reason
general
that
conflict of the season was she was the one being tracked. So
yeah, but this season, she's the one pulling the batch out of a lot of the bad situations. Like, she's the one that's kind of coming in clutch most of the times, mining all that Ipsium.
If you want to get like more specific, even more specific, season 1, I'd probably go Hunter. Season 2, say we go Tech. But as the show, I think you got, like, overall right now, you got to go Omega. Like, seasons 1 and 2, the favorite character.
Here's what I love about Omega is that you'll see like how often do you see in like a cartoon or a show with a child involved, where like a child does something that gets like the rest of the group or like another person or the group as a whole like into a sticky situation, like, pretty often, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you feel like the lesson to be learned doesn't always quite resonate, or like it's not as prominent in the story as you would think. But I look back at this season and I think back to like the episode where they had to go get Omega wants the gold so desperately, like she's trying to get the treasure, right? Because Fee is clearly just like imprinted. So, and I don't even know if Fee had been around at that point. Am I tripping?
No, she was so dire to fulfill the mission that Sid had assigned to them. She was like, it's the mission. I have to complete the mission. It wasn't necessarily about getting the treasure itself. It was about fulfilling the mission so that Sid would.
I just love that, like, anytime, like, it doesn't feel tropey. It feels extremely earned. And, like, that's why I love it, is it's, like, it's so pure. Like, you look back, like, I look back, like, hey, my parents told me, like, in our yard that has a massive ass hill and, like, landscaping rocks that, like, drops off 10 feet off the side if you're not careful. Like, hey, don't go running around over there. Be careful. And then I did it and I fucking fell off. So, like, I had to learn that shit, you know, and it just feels very fucking real. And, like, that's a poor example because I don't be going to look for treasure or nothing cool like Omega. So I'm just.
You never dug for treasure in your backyard?
I mean, bro, best I could do was, you know, a couple worms or something. I don't know, fucking dehydrated dog turd or something. I don't know. Not much.
You don't know what's back there. You don't know. Could be anything. Dinosaur.
But nah, man, like, I just love that. Like, it feels so much different. Like, it feels so genuine and pure. And, like, she is, like, the mistake is made for the right reason. Whereas, like, sometimes you're like, why would this character ever go put themselves in this situation? Like, that doesn't seem realistic. With Omega, it always seems realistic. You know what I mean? And, like, that's just something that I think is invaluable to the show. And, like, Colton, you were talking earlier about how, like, people don't like Omega or whatnot. If that's why you're not watching the show, whatever. You know, what I think is so funny to me is it's like, I just know that these people who hate this show because of Omega don't have children. Because it's like, if you had children and they watched this show with you, they would fucking love Omega. And then what would you have to say? What would you have to say? Not shit. So, like...
Well, I'm of the mind that if you don't like Omega and that you are passionately hateful towards Omega, there are a lot of people who are like, straight up, this fucking ruins it. I fucking hate it. She sucks. You shouldn't have kids. You shouldn't be around kids.
Please don't repopulate. It is not good.
Yeah, I don't want the chance for another one of you to be running around, but I also don't want that child to go through having to be raised by you. That more specifically, I worry for the child's sake if you have a child and you hate Omega. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get how that could be a correlate. And I know people will be like, that's so fucking dumb. She's a fictional character. Yeah, you're fucking dumb. So.
Exactly. She's a fictional character and you hate her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a child at that. A child fictional character that you hate?
Goddamn idiot. You goddamn idiot. Oh, you're so fucking dumb. Oh, you're all fucking boring. But do we have any last thoughts on the Bad Batch season 2?
Man,
what a season it was.
I mean, it's just like, you really just feel like it brought the heat the whole season. Like not much like taking just a episode off, you know? Like, that's rare. Like, it's hard to do in television. I just wish like it would get the shine.
Yeah, man, these three, like, really I remember at the end of season 1, I was like, God fucking damn it, I'm gonna miss the Bad Batch, and I'm there again. I'm there again, you know.
Gotta wait a year.
It's been 3 months that we've been watching this show. Year and some change, year and a half, probably. Depends on how long they've been grinding on season 3, if they have it all. But man, regardless, I loved this show. I loved this season, and I'm so excited to get more of it. But that concludes coverage of the Bad Batch season 2. Rebellion's Bloom for the next 3 weeks is going to go back to being just The Mandalorian. We're going next week. We're doing The Mandalorian season 3 episodes 5 and 6. We're going to double up since all we did was the Bad Batch. Obviously, we couldn't help ourselves. We did talk about The Mandalorian quite a bit, but not this episode in specific. So we saved all that. So you have that to look forward to next week in conjunction with episode 6. Which I'm pretty sure is to be directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who has a fantastic track record on The Mandalorian so far. She also did season 1, episode 4, The Sanctuary, and she did the episode where Bo-Katan was introduced last season, the Heiress. That was the one she did, and she did fantastic work on both of those episodes. 7 and 8 will be directed by Fami Yiwa, who has again, an incredible track record on this show so far. And I can't fucking wait.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. She is very good. She has some Black Mirror episodes as well that she did pretty good on. I remember.
She's also in the Jurassic World movies.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh man, she's very talented. Yeah, wow, she does it all, huh?
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard's the shit. Also, the daughter of Ron Howard, who was in American Graffiti, co-show created Arrested Development, directed Willow in 1989 or 88.
Well, god damn.
Directed Solo.
Talented family.
Star Wars.
Talented family.
The Howards, man, they're the shit. But with that, we'll conclude this.
Dwight Howard in the mix as well.
Yeah, he's a cousin, distant cousin. But with that, we'll conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of movie and book reviews, along with comic book pull lists. Just yesterday, me and Joe recorded a long, I think it was an hour and 40-minute episode, which we talked for about 45 minutes of that about the continuation of a project I'm doing, the First Viewings project. So I ranked 15 movies that I've watched for the first time. That is the only thing that binds them. They have no relation beyond the fact that I have watched them for the first time this year. And there's 15 of them. I rank them. It's very fun. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you are listening. If you were fucking with us today, be sure to check us out on Friday. We are continuing our comic book movie journey through film, and this Friday brings us Blade. We will be joined by a special guest named Azure. Very excited for you all to hear that. Monday, we continue Winter is Blooming. This next week will be we're rewatching Game of Thrones. That'll be season 3, episode 3 next Monday. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. We're working on top 100s. We're working on all sorts of stuff. So you fuck with us today, you'll fuck with us tomorrow. I guarantee it. Stick around. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot, thank you very much, Kate Beasy, Kyler Barnett.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for another excellent season of The Bad Batch covered. That is 32 episodes of The Bad Batch we have covered as a team, which is very, very
boom.
Cool. Boom.
That's sick.
Boom. Let's see. Bad Batch Season 2. This episode will be episode 360, I think, is what this episode will be.
A full circle, baby. Let's go. That's kind of poetic.
Let's see. When was the first episode of The Bad Batch?
Gotta be like
180.
183.
If it's 180, that's nuts. That'd be a long. It's not 180, is it?
What do you feel like? Like his guess was 180. What's yours, Joe?
I was gonna say around 180.
I said 183.
I was gonna say
to be exact.
91. Season 1, episode 1 of The Bad Batch was episode 91 of this podcast.
So I was like, we did like double the amount of episodes from where I guessed and what it actually was.
Nearly.
Oh my god.
No, like literally. That's wild. It's wild. We have putting in work, Colton and Joe, especially me sometimes.
Yeah, that 52-year journey through film and the comic book journey, like at least an episode a week, most of the time too. That'll happen.
Sometimes 5.
I really just feel like we started doing this like a year ago, which is what's wild. Is like it has dawned on me that like I've moved into an entirely different apartment. I re-signed the lease on the original apartment that I started recording this podcast in with you guys. Fucking wild, man.
I mean, going back to The Mandalorian, like that'll be an even crazier jump. The Mandalorian season 1, episode 1. Let's see when that was. That was all right. Chapter
69. No, that probably is it even that high? Is it lower?
It has been over 300 episodes since The Mandalorian
60?
episode 1.
It's less than 60?
It's 41.
Damn. That's a lot of episodes.
Man, dude. We have
a lot of
recorded,
hours.
You and / we have recorded so much shit because, like, I remember, like, we did WandaVision, we did Loki, we did, yeah, dude, holy fuck.
First season of Bad Batch, every Star Wars Disney Plus show we've covered.
That is insane. Why don't fucking people listen to this shit more often? Listen here, motherfuckers, y'all better start running that shit up.
March was a downslope. The Mandalorian episodes were not. They didn't boost us the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi once did, the way Andor did. Mandalorian, it's not what the people were looking for, apparently. However, it's Star Wars television. We
don't talk about it,
and we don't talk about it. I often say that I don't exactly do this for the listeners. While I appreciate you guys and it makes it very, very fun that you do in fact listen, I do it because I like doing it, and that's the approach most content creators should take.
Because he really just likes talking to Joseph George and Kay Beasley.
That's a fact. Yeah, I like talking to my boys.
Gives me an outlet to let whatever's going on up in here out into the world somewhere. You know,
Joe, you know what? Hey, man, for every time you say some shit like that, there's gotta be at least one person who listens that's thinking, hey, you know what? I like what he's saying.
Hey, it's coming through one day.
There's gotta be someone out there too that's like, I can't believe someone else said it. You know, there's someone out there who actually thinks the same too.
I hope they find this podcast. And
DM
I hope they
find me. We got to create a group. If any of my theories were your own, you're too lost as well. We need to find each other.
Hey, super niche reference coming here, but do you guys remember Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed when Shaggy gets out of the fucking mystery machine limousine and he looks over and he's got a whole crowd of Shaggy looking ass motherfuckers and he's like, hey. That's going to be Joe when he finds all his people that out there that believe in the shit he's talking about.
And I'm going to be dressed in the Velma skin-tight orange jumpsuit just cuz.
Colton, don't you say that, because listen here, bro. That is when my love of Linda Cardellini started. And look.
Wasn't it for us all?
Look, man, I can't be any more attracted to you than I already am. So just we can't have that, man. We can't have that. We can't have that.
I'm about to change lives. But with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. Remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise the Bad Batch, bitches.